In the late 60s, two teams missed out on promotion to the Bundesliga, with Bourssia Mönchengladbach and Bayern Munich. I wonder what happened to them. Over the next decade, the two would go toe-to-toe in what is the original Klassiker in German football. None of this Borussia Dortmund, whatever. Both were young teams with a group of local players at the heart of them. Gladbach were called Die Fohlen, or the Foals, due to their quick and attacking style of play, like a foal, which is a young horse. Led by Hennis Weisweiler, this Gladbach side included Günther Netzer, Jupp Heynckes and Bertie Vogts, all of whom would be crucial, not only for the club, but the national team in the future. From 1970 to 1977, they would win the Bundesliga 5 times. Die Fohlen would be a team etched in German football history by several stories, which we will now go into. Nationally, one involves their best ever player, Netzer. In the 1972-73 season, Gladbach reached the DFB Pokal final. Just before the game, it was revealed that Netzer would join Real Madrid at the end of the season. This upset head coach Weisweiler, who decided to bench the midfield dynamo. In response, Netzer said, "I think that's pretty brave of you." The Pokal final was also against arch-rivals Erste FC Köln. In normal time, the game had finished 1-1, meaning it headed for an extra 30 minutes, and midfielder Christian Kulik was struggling at the beginning of extra time. The bench Netzer would approach head coach Weisweiler and say, "I'll play now then." Subbing himself on, Netzer would then score the winner 3 minutes after coming on with his second touch of the game to end his Gladbach career with another trophy. Internationally, Gladbach were just as successful, winning the UEFA Cup twice and reaching the final of the European Cup in 1977 before losing to Liverpool. But it's a match that never technically happened, which may have been their pinnacle. In 1971, Gladbach faced Inter Milan. Games during this time were two-legged ties between the champions of the nations within UEFA. During the first leg of this tie, Gladbach put in one of their best performances ever as they thrashed Inter 7-1. Legendary Manchester United manager Matt Busby, who was at the game, said, "Nobody in the world would have won against this team today. That was football in the highest perfection." However, during the game, a Coke can was thrown onto the pitch and hit Inter player Roberto Bonasegna, and he fell on the floor needing medical treatment. As no TV cameras captured the moment, it's suggested that the Italian milked being hit by the can, as the can was not full and it was thrown from a short distance. The can was rumoured to have been thrown by an Italian fan. To back up this claim that Bonasegna was milking it, Netzer picked up the can to throw it off the pitch and noticed the traits that were just previously mentioned and that the Italian was milking the ordeal. It could be argued that the throwing of the can onto the pitch then caused Inter to collapse on the pitch, or to collapse in their performance, and it allowed Gladbach to score 7 goals. So after the game, naturally, Inter would complain to UEFA to void the result due to the 7 minutes of madness that had ensued following the throwing of the can. The game would be voided, and another game would be played instead at the Olympiastadion in Berlin. Inter won the return leg in Italy 4-2, while the extra game in Berlin finished 0-0, which resulted in Gladbach's elimination. Inter would go all the way to the final before losing to Johan Cruyff's Ajax. Since then, the can, which was thrown on the pitch, is now on display at Gladbach's museum, while the fan that threw the can was in fact Dutch and never went to a football game again after the ordeal.